Hi everyone. Welcome to this new video. This is going to be another video for Walmart Coders 2024. And as you know, what is the format of prep series? We will be covering past years or previous year problems from actual Walmart coders. Okay. You can check out our other prep series and previous videos of this prep series also in our official YouTube channel, WiseCoder. Link will be in description. Now again, so for the very first time, you will be practicing the actual problems also. So check out the link in description for practicing those problems which we will cover here. Okay. Moving on, let us move on to the first problem, very first problem. So this is the very first problem. You are given an array A of length n. Each of the elements of A is either 0 or 1. Okay, so it's like a binary array. There are two functions p of I and s of I such that p of I is nothing but a of 1 plus a of 2 plus and so on till a of I. So it's like the prefix sum, as you can see, 1 to I, and I is between 1 and n. So they are considering 1 based indexing. And s of I is a of I plus a of I plus 1 plus and so on till a of n. So which is like suffix part. Okay, suffix sum of array. So what you have to find out, if you can arrange the array such that p of I is equal to s of n minus I plus 1. Okay. Always hold true for each of the valid i's. Okay. Let us see the input format also. N is up to 10 to the power 5 and the array is binary. So yeah, value is between 0 and 1. What we have to print? Yes, if we can rearrange the array such that p of I is equal to s of n minus I plus 1 holds true. Okay, else we have to print no. Okay, now what details are given to us in this problem? So we are going to have an array A. Suppose the length of the array is n, and constraints I'm writing here, it can be up to 10 to the power 5, and array is binary, so elements are between 0 and 1. Either 0 or 1 is a better statement. Okay, now how they have defined, they have two functions for p of I and s of I. So p of I, how they are defining, p of I is nothing but a of 1 plus a of 2 plus and so on till a of I plus a of I. Okay. Similarly, s of I, how they are defining, so s of I is nothing but a of I plus a of I plus 1 plus and so on till a plus a of n. So this is nothing if you consider, or if you just observe this, what I have written here is, suppose I have this particular array. This is random index I, then prefix of I, or sorry, p of I is nothing but a of 1 plus a of 2 plus a of 3 plus a of I. What is S of I? S of I is A of I plus A of I plus 1 plus A of I plus 2 plus A of I plus 3 plus A of I plus 4. What is this? This is known as prefix of array. Okay, this part is prefix of array. And what is this? This is suffix. This is one of the suffix of array. Okay, so P of I is prefix, S of I is suffix. Now, what is asked in question is, can you rearrange or can you arrange elements of array? Can you arrange elements of array such that one expression was given? What expression is there? P of I is equal to S of n, sorry, S of n minus I plus 1. So let us see, let us take some example also. We will understand this. Suppose I have an array of length 6. I have 6 elements in my array. So we have 4 and let's have 5 and 6. So I have 6 elements in array. Indexes are, we are using one based indexing in this case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay. Now let us start initializing or having the valid values of I. So I will be between 1 and n. So we are starting with I value 1. When I is 1, Now, what is the value of this expression? It is n minus 1 plus 1, which is n only. Okay. So, according to this, what we are getting, P of 1 is equal to S of n. Okay. And what is S of n? S of n is nothing but suffix part starting from index I and going till all that. Okay, so S of I is sum of all values from index I to all the way till end. Okay, so S of n will be nothing but A of n. P of 1 will be A of 1. What is P of I? P of I is sum of all values like A of 1 plus and so on till A of I. Prefix sum. Okay, prefix sum of elements. Okay, so this I got this. A of 1 should be equal to A of n. Now next value of I is going to be 2. In that case, this expression n minus I plus 1 will be equal to n minus 2 plus 1, which comes out to be n minus 1. So this is 2, this is n minus 1. So P of 2 should be equal to S of n minus 1. Now what is P of 2? P of 2 is nothing but A of 1 plus A of 2. What is S of n minus 1? That is nothing but A of n minus 1 plus A of n. But here, if you mark this as point number 1, from point number 1, I already know A of 1 and A of n are same. So they will cancel out. What I'm getting now is A of 2 is equal to A of n minus 1. Similarly, you'll keep on observing A of 3 will be equal to A of n minus 2. Now let us go back to our array. So what is happening? First is equal to last. This is the condition. First need to be equal to last. Second need to be equal to second last element of array. Third need to be equal to third last element of array. But one thing should strike at this point. Okay, there is one more special thing which follows this same property, and that thing is known as palindromes. Those who don't know about palindromes, I would suggest them to read about the palindromes. Okay, palindromes are nothing but a string which is same as original string when you reverse it, like A, B, A. So this is original string. If I reverse it, I'll get A, B, A only. So it is same after reversing also. Okay, so those strings are known as palindromes. Similarly, arrays. In case of arrays, if we have the same property, if you reverse the array and it is the exactly same array which was earlier, it is a palindromic array. Okay. So here this our array need to be palindrome. What I can say is it is following the property of palindrome. So I just have to check, can I arrange my array elements into palindrome? Can I arrange my array elements into palindrome? If this is possible, then you'll print yes. Okay. Because the following condition that are mentioned will only satisfy if you can arrange your array as a palindrome. Okay. Now, one thing, one property you should write down. I should mention you right here. There is one property or feature you can have is you can always, so in case generally palindrome is for strings. So there is one property which I am writing down here, which you should remember. The property is you can always form palindrome by rearranging or arranging by arranging or rearranging characters when there is at most one character of odd frequency. When it should be when there is not where here when there is At the most one character. This is the most important line. At most one character with odd frequency. Okay, this property need to be satisfied. Frequency is nothing but count. So this property is satisfied for strings. Like if you want to form a palindromic string and you have bunch of characters, you can form a palindrome out of like using all the characters if this property is satisfied. So one example I can take, suppose you have a occurring three times, b occurring three times, c occurring four times. So it is not possible to form a palindrome using all the characters. All in the sense you are using three a's, three b's, and four c's. It is not possible. Why? Because there are two characters A and B which are having odd frequencies or odd counts. It is at most one. At most one. So you can have zero character also with odd frequency. Now, proof of this is very simple. In case of palindromes, we have two types. One is odd length, other one is even length. In case of even length, every character need to have even frequency. Every character need to have even frequency. Need to have even frequency. In case of odd length, every character except the midpoint can have or must have even frequency. So every character except the middle character or the mid character should have even frequency. Okay, so you can see in for covering both of the type of palindromes. So at the most one character is allowed. At most one character with odd frequency is allowed. Okay. So, and that is for this odd length palindromes only. If length is even, then all the characters need to have even frequency. If length is odd, then obviously you require one character to have odd frequency. Okay, so that is one point which you should remember. And we have to apply the same thing because we want to form palindrome. Okay, if we just arrange our array into a palindrome, then it is possible to achieve all the conditions that are given. Okay, now my array is binary. So you just have to check this thing when it is possible. So suppose if number of ones and number of zeros, if they are even, if both are even, great. We can easily rearrange them and form a palindrome. Okay, if number of ones is odd and number of zeros is even, then also it is possible because at most one character. So here if I consider 1 as one of the character and 0 as one of the characters, then here I am only having one character with odd frequency. So this is allowed. Similarly, if I have ones occurring even number of times, 0 occurring even number of sorry odd number of times, this is also possible because here also at most one character is there with odd frequency. But what is not possible when 1 is occurring odd number of times and 0 is also occurring odd number of times. If this is the case, we cannot form a palindrome because it does not satisfy the condition for forming a palindrome. You are allowed only at most one character with odd count. Here we are having two characters, both 1 and 0. Okay, so you will just basically find how many zeros are there, how many ones are there in your array. And based on that, like in all these three cases, it will be allowed. If only if ones and zeros are odd, in that case only you will print no. If I take the very first example, which is 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. So answer for this is yes. How we can rearrange them? You can have different ways. You can have 1 1 1 0 0. This is valid. Here we rearrange them into palindrome form. Now it will satisfy. P of 1 will be A of 1, which is equal to 0. S of n, because P of I should be equal to S of n minus I plus 1. If we go by the condition, it should be equal to A of n, which is again 0. Now next is P of 2, which is A of 1 plus A of 2, which is 0 plus 1, which comes out to be 1, should be equal to S of n minus 1, which is A of n minus 1 plus A of n, which comes out to be 1. So this will satisfy our condition. Now, moving on to the code. Code is very simple. Okay, you just loop around your array. I is less than n. So I am assuming you know how to take input in array. Okay. So if your value is odd, okay, so it should be how to check odd values. Mod 2 is 0, not equal to 0. When you divide any number and remainder is not 0, it is odd. So odd plus plus. So you require two variables, odd, which will be initialized with 0, and sorry, we should go with 1 and 0 because we have ones and zeros only. So this is the condition to check if my value is 1 or not. I took odd and 0. It should be 1 and 0. So we have two variables, 1 and 0. They will store the count, how many ones are there in my array, how many zeros are there. Okay, if this is not odd, it means it is even, and even means 0 is there. Okay, so this is how you'll find how many ones are there, how many zeros are there. And there is only one case when it is not possible, that is when number of ones is odd and number of zeros is odd. This is the only case when you cannot have an array which satisfy your condition, so you will print no, else you'll print yes, else for all other cases you'll print yes. Okay, great. Okay, now moving on to second problem. So second problem is like this: x and y were in an election battle. So x and y, you can say two peoples are there, you and your friend, suppose. Okay. This city consists of n towns. Okay, n towns are there, and each town have m1 number of people who will love to vote y. Okay, and m2 number of people who will not take part in election. Obviously I hate m2 people, like everyone should cast their vote in elections. Okay, now x, after seeing the lack of his supporters, decided to campaign. Okay, so in a city there are two type of voters, m1 and m2. M1 are the one who will vote to y, m2 are the one who are not voting. And X is opposition candidate, and who is obviously seeing lack of his supporters, so he decide to campaign. If X does a campaign in town T, so both M1 and M2 number of people in the town will become his supporters. Okay, so is having very wonderful, what I can say, convincing power. He can convince all the people present in that particular town. Okay, so if X do a campaign, all type of voters M1 and M2 will become his supporters. Great. Your task is to calculate least number of towns in which X has to campaign to win the election. Okay, so problem is like this. We are given n towns. For all the n towns, I am assuming they will give us M1 and M2, and M1 are the people who will vote to Y, while M2 are the people who will not vote. Now, for X, you have to find minimum number of cities he can do campaign such that he will win. And if he perform a campaign, he will get both the voters converted into his supporter. Okay, become his supporter. Yeah, it is always possible to win elections for X. Yes. If he campaign in all the N cities, in worst case, then he will get all the votes and he will win. Okay, input format is the first line contains N. Okay, N is up to 200,000. So into 10 to the power 5. And M1 and M2 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 to the power 9. Okay, and output format is single integer, which denotes the least number of towns in which X has to campaign to win the election. Okay, so what we are given is, let me change this to a different color. Yeah, so we are given N. How many cities are there? Number of cities. There are two people who are up against each other in election X and Y. Okay, so these are two people who are up against each other in election. Now for any city, suppose some city 1, in city 1 there are two type of voters, M1, M2. M1 are going to be are supporters of Y. They are going to vote to Y. Okay, M2 are those people who will not vote. Who will not vote. Okay. Now what X has a superpower or not, I would say convincing power. If X do campaign in city 1, then as a result, both M1 and M2 become supporter of X. So earlier M2 was not giving vote, but now after the campaign, M2 will also vote or become supporter of X. Okay. So what we have to find, okay, let me write supporter here. So we have to find minimum number of cities that X need to have campaign in. X need to campaign, I would say. So this we need to find. So in first go, if we take one example, the first example for this problem, which is 421221513. Let us take that. Four two one 221523. Is it like this? Oh, it's 13. 2213. So in this case, suppose if you select this city where X should campaign, so X will get vote from M1 candidate. So first value is for M1 voters. Next value is for M2 voters. Okay. So X will get M1 votes. So which is 1 plus M2 votes. He will be able to convince M2 also according to the problem statement. So X will get 6 votes. Now opponent Y, how much vote is he getting? He is getting 221, 5 votes. X is getting 6, Y is getting 5. So obviously X can win the election by just having campaign in one city. So answer in this case is going to be 1. At least one election or sorry campaign X need to do in order to win. So here for this test case answer is 1. Let's see. Yes, answer is 1. Okay. But here what I chose, okay, I greedily chose city which is having maximum voters. City with maximum voters. You can say how many voters are there in city 1, which is 3. For city 2, 4. For city 3, 6. For city 4, 4. Okay. So these are number of voters. Voters will include both M1 and M2. So we are going to have 3, 4, 6, 4. So I chose a city which is having more number of voter or the maximum number of voters in order to have them in first time. Okay. So everyone can think this problem can be easily solved. What we will do is we will find for every city how many people are living there and sort them by decreasing value of total number of peoples or voters, and that will be the answer. But hold on. Every time, whenever you get an approach, so first thing should be to cross check it. Use some edge cases there. Is your approach right? Or after implementing, you find out, okay, your logic is not working, you'll end up wasting a lot of time. Okay, so this is a tip from my end. First, confirm with two, three test cases. And try to cover all the edge cases. What will happen in this scenario? What will happen in this scenario? And so on. So let us check if greedily works every time or not. So if you take this particular test case, 1 7 1 7 1 7, and we have 5 1. So, and again 1 7. Suppose I have something like this. There are five cities. City 1 have 8 voters, city 2 have 8 voters, city 3 have 8 voters, city 4 have 6 voters, city 5 have 8 voters. So if you go according to like choosing a city which is having maximum number of voters for campaigning, so you'll get what result? So you'll either choose one of the cities which is having 8 voters. So you'll choose this. Basically, suppose you chose this city. So if you chose this city, 8 votes, X will get 8 votes. And Y will get remaining one, 2, 3, 8 votes. Okay. 1, 2, 3 plus 5, 8 votes. So here X cannot win because number of votes are same in X and Y. So it means X need to do one more campaign. So again you will choose the next city which is having maximum number of voters. So 8 in this time again. So this will come out to be now total number of votes that X is getting is 16. And for Y, how many votes he is going to get? If X has already campaign in city 1 and city 2, so for remaining will go to Y, which is coming out to be 7. So now X will win. So how many cities X are campaigning in this case? Total number of cities is 2. But is 2 the correct answer? Pause the video and think about this. Is 2 the correct answer? The answer for this is no. Okay, by just campaigning, the actual answer is 1. Okay, by just campaigning in one city, what can happen is X can win the election, and that city is this one, which is not having the maximum number of voters. So if X campaign in this city, what happens? If X campaign in this city, he will get 6 votes, and Y will get all the M1 voters from all the remaining cities. Now, all the remaining cities have how many voters? 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like we are talking about M1 voters because M1 voters are the supporters of Y. So here it is equal to 4. Is 6 greater than 4? Yes. So number of votes that X will get is greater than number of votes Y will get. So here X will win and he campaigned in one city. So the point here I want to make is choosing the city with maximum number of voters is not always right. So your greedy approach is failing here. Okay. So one more thing you can notice from here is you should always check your logic twice before implementing. And in companies like Walmart and their hackathons, they have this wonderful problems where at first glance it seems to be easy problem, but underlying they have something like this. Okay. So whatever be the first solution which you'll think this will work won't work. Okay. Might not work. Okay. Now, why this is not working? What is happening? What is the issue? We are getting the maximum number of voters. Why this is failing? So it has to do with the impact. So there are two things. One, 7. So there was city 1, which have M1 number of voters equal to 1, M2 number of voters equal to 7. And in city 2, where suppose I have 5 M1 voters and 1 M2 voter. So number of voters in this city is 8, number of voters in this city is 6. Now you will think, okay, it is good for me to choose this city because this will give 8 voters, 2x. But think I will choose, or this is a better option. City 2, choosing city 2 is a better option. Okay, so this I will choose, although here X will get 6 votes. But why this is a better option? Let's see. If we have only two cities, city 1 and city 2, if we choose city 1, then score of X is going to be 8 and score of Y is going to be 5. Because we have two cities, M1 number of voters will vote to Y, they are supporters of Y. So this is going to be the score, although X is winning and Y score is 5. If we choose X to campaign in city 2, in that case, what will happen? X will get a score of 6 and Y will get a score of 1. Okay, here also X is winning. Now you might be thinking what rubbish I am talking about. In both the cases, X is winning. But look at here closely. In this case, X won, great. But what is the difference? Difference is of 3 votes only. X won by 3 votes. Now in this case, what is the difference? Difference is of 5 votes. Although X is winning in both the cases, which one is the better option? Better option is this one. Okay, by winning by long margins. Okay, so here we have only two cities. We took this example. We just saw this wonderful example. Sorry, just a minute. Yes. So in this wonderful example, we saw choosing the city with maximum number of voters is not good. By that approach, we got two campaigns, but actual answer was one. Okay, so you have to focus on impact the city is creating. What is the impact of choosing this city? So, how you are going to have that impact? What is actually happening if you are choosing any city? So, just a second. If there is an city I, it is going to have M1 number of voters, M2 number of voters. If X is campaigning in this city, X1 plus X2, sorry, M1 plus M2, both are going to vote for or become supporter of X. So X will get this value and Y will lose how much? Y will lose total. Suppose the total number of votes that Y was getting earlier before X started campaigning, which is suppose equal to total. So he will lose this M1 voter from this city. Okay. So you have to use some relation between these two. How much X is gaining, how much Y is losing for every city. Suppose we are doing the difference, that will give us an idea about the impact. Which one is having, which city is having more impact. Okay, so if X campaign in city I, he will get M1 plus M2 votes, while on the other hand, Y score will modified from total to total minus M1. What is total here? Total is nothing but sum of all M1 values for all cities, because Y will get votes from M1 only. Okay, only M1 voters are going to vote to Y. Okay, so he will lose this M1 thing. So effect of choosing or having a campaign in a city is can be defined like this: M1 plus M2 minus total minus M1, where total is sum of all M1 values across all cities. Okay. So if I simplify this expression, this will come out to be 2 into m1 plus m2 minus total. So this is what I personally found the formula. So this is not a formula, this is a relation where I am taking care of how much x is gaining and how much y is losing for every city. And based on this, I will choose the city which is having the more impact. We saw that 1 7 is having less impact than 5 1. Okay, let's see the values that we will get if you put in this formula. So total is going to be, in this case, total sum of all values of b1, which is coming out to be 6. Okay, now in case if we choose this city 1 comma 7, number of m1 voters is 1, number of m2 voters is 7, the value of this expression will come out to be 2 plus 7 minus 6. Okay, so this is coming out to be 9 minus 6, which is 2. Okay, and the same value for this expression will come out to be 2 into 5 plus 1 minus 6, which is 10 plus 1 minus 6, 11 minus 6, which comes out to be 5. Out of 2 and 5, which one is greater? 5. So this city is creating more impact. More impact. More impact in the sense vote difference. We are talking about vote difference. Okay. So you will find this value, this particular value for every city. And then you will start doing campaign from the city which is having the greatest impact. Okay. Now, if we go back to the same thing, I'm writing the formula here, which we derived 2 into m1 plus m2 minus total, where total is nothing but sum of all m1 values or m1 voters across n cities. So earlier we took this example, no? 1 7 1 7 1 7 5 1 1 7. So for all of them, the corresponding value, this corresponding value is going to be 2 2 2 5 2. Okay. So how we will start? Initially, X is going to have 0 votes. Y is going to have all the M1 votes, which is coming out to be 5 1 6 7 1 8 1 9. Okay. Total is 9. Now you will start picking the city which is having the maximum number of, sorry, which is having the greatest impact. Impact in the sense this value need to be the greatest. Okay. So before that only you can sort this thing. You can sort the cities according to this value, according to the impact value. And this formula will help you find the impact value. Okay. So what I want to do, I want to sort my cities according to impact value. So if I sort them, then 5 1 will come first. City 5 1. So this is how they will be arranged. 5 1 1 7 1 7 1 7 1 7. Okay. Now X is having 0 votes initially. Y is having 9 votes initially. Now you'll ask X to do campaign in this city. As a result, X will gain 6 votes and Y will lose 9 minus how many M1 voters are there? 5 M1 voters are there. Y will become 4. So after having the campaign in this particular city, we'll compare how many votes X is having, how many votes Y is having. If X is having more votes than Y, there is no need of doing any more campaign and you will stop there. So in this case, you did only one campaign and that is the answer. Okay, so it's not about greedy always. Okay, so you have to find a fine balance between here in this case what we are finding how much X is gaining, while on the other hand, how much Y is also losing if I choose that city. Okay, I hope you understood this. If there is any doubt, please rewind the video. Now we are going for the implementation. So here I would ask you to pause this particular video and go to our website and try to solve the problem, implement whatever you understood till now. We are going to share the code in C++ from now onwards, like here onwards. So it's better first you try, then you can see the approach if you are having difficulty in implementing. Okay, great. I assume you have tried implementing on our website and all. Now I'll be sharing the code. So for finding, like what I require two things. I want to have an array. So I'm not talking about input and all, how to take an input. So suppose I have taken input in a cities array, which is a 2D array. Okay. Where so cities of 0 will be storing for first city, how many voters are there, M1, how many M2 voters are there. Okay. So cities of 0 comma 0 will be equal to M1, and cities of 0 comma 1 is going to be M2. So I'm having a 2D array. In 2D array, I took the input, okay, which is given. You can assume this. I'm not covering the input part. If you are not good at taking inputs, then obviously this is not the right video for you. I assume you know about input, basic input taking and output printing part, okay? Now moving ahead, what I want to find is for every city, I want to find this impact. What is the impact of choosing this city? And also the index of this city. I want these two things together, and based on impact, I will sort it. And why I want I? Because I don't want to lose out which city impact it is. Okay. So for that, I am creating an array of pairs, vector of pair of long long. Why I took long long? Reason being constraints. If you look at the constraints, this value can be up to M1, M2 can be up to 10 to the power 9, and number of cities is 10 to the power 5. So in worst case, you have to take sum of all those values, which will not fit in normal integer. Okay. So I took this. This is for ordering of cities. In which order X should start campaigning in. Okay. Now your goal is to go through all the cities. Okay. Here it is going to be in. Okay. Basic things you can write down on your own. I is less than n plus plus I. N is number of cities. Now, obviously, how many M1 voters are there? That is stored in cities array. Cities I0. Okay. M2 is stored at cities I1. Okay. Now we will use our formula that we generated a while ago. So impact is equal to 2LL. Okay. So here I used 2LL. 2 is by default numbers are treated as integer in C++. So LL is for converting that normal number into a long number. Okay. 2 LL into M1 plus M2 minus. Okay. Before this, you have to find total also. What is total? Sum of all the M1 values of all the cities. Okay. So this you can easily find by looping throughout like all the cities and adding all the M1 values in this total variable. So that thing you require. I'm just writing the main part here. Okay. So minus total. That will be the impact of choosing this city. Now what I want to do is I want to add this in my order array. So order dot pushback. Here is going to be the impact and for which city this impact is. Because after ordering them based on impact, I don't want to lose out the city. Okay. So in C++, there is this wonderful thing. If I sort this array of pairs, it will sort according to the first element of pair. And that is how I want them. Okay. So we are going to use the sort function here. Sort order dot begin to order dot end. Okay, those who don't code in C++, just copy this code and use ChatGPT for converting it into Java. But what I highly recommend you is, if you understood the concept, try on your own. Try to write down on your own. If you are facing difficulty, then proceed with this step. Okay, by default, sorting is in increasing order. How I want in decreasing order. I want the cities with maximum value first. Okay, so 1 2 3 4, this is how this sort function will sort them. But how I want them in 4 3 2 1 manner. So what is the way for this to convert this into this? Just reverse them. So if you want a decreasing ordered sorted array or sorted thing on the basis of impact, so just reverse. If I reverse this thing, I'll get the right order. Okay, so after reversing, we will get the order in which we wanted it. Okay, so these are important for having cities sorted in impact order, starting from the city which is having the greatest impact. Okay, now I require, first of all, how many cities X is going to campaign in, that is going to be stored in C, and we also require how many votes X is getting. Okay, number of votes Y is getting is equal to total. Okay, because all the cities have M1 supporters which are going to vote to Y. So total sum is already found. We already have stored them in total keyword. Okay. Now what we will do is we will start campaigning for int I equal to 0, I is less than n, plus I. Okay, so here cities are arranged in decreasing order of impact. Okay, so what we are having, impact and index, like for which city this impact is. So I require this I in order to find M1 and M2 of this city. So which city it is, in city is equal to impact, order of I dot second. Okay, this statement is very important. Here we are finding out for which city this impact is currently. Order of I dot second will give you for which city your current impact is. Okay, now you want how many M1 supporters are there in this city, which you can get from cities array directly now. Cities of city dot first. Sorry, it is arranged in 2D array. So 0 will give you how many M1 voters are there, and number of M2 voters will be cities of city 1. Okay, those who are confused with this line, it is nothing but, if you remember, 1 7 for city where M1 voters are 1, M2 voters are 7, impact was coming out to be 2. Okay, if we have this thing 5 1 is there are two cities, so in that case impact was coming out to be 2. Okay, then I think one thing I messed up in this case, that impact thing. Yeah, I think will vary impact will vary in this case. Wait, yes, I did mention this impact thing. So this thing will vary, but you have to use this formula. Based on this formula, you'll get this. If I put 2 plus 7 minus total is 9. Yeah, this will be 9 minus 9. This will comes out to be 0. And for this case, it will come out to be 10 plus 1 minus total is 9. So 11 minus 9, it will come out to be 1. So this all you have to change. This is 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. Order will not change. This value is changing. Okay. You'll find this. Order will not change. Okay. This is going to have the highest impact. Impact will not change. Okay. Order you'll get is based on the basis of impact. So we are going to have this impact basis order. So now how we have stored? We have stored like this. What is the impact and which city it belongs to? Like for which city it is. So we are getting this city thing. So based once we know the city, we can find how many M1, how many M2 voters are there. Okay, now X is gaining both M1 and M2 voters and Y is losing M1 voters because only M1 voters have voted Y. Okay. Now you will check, you will increment the count of campaign because you did campaign in this city. Now you'll check if X is greater than Y, you will come out of the loop. Okay. And you will print how many cities you campaign in. Okay. So that's it. What is the time complexity of this? So time complexity is going to be n log n. Because for finding and creating this impact order array is linear because we are just doing one simple calculation which will take O of one time. So that is linear. The longer time you are going to take is in sorting, okay, which is n log n. So overall time complexity is going to be n log n for this problem, okay. If you have any difficulty in any code, I'll attach the code of this problem also in description. Okay, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do share with your friends and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.